Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Kappa, good to see you. Happy weekend to all, I suppose, for those who celebrate. How's the weekend going? Aside from the obvious misfortune. I see we're in the US front, which is a whole shit show that nobody asked for. But here we are. Whatever. Yeah, as long as I did my weekly protest, which felt doubly relevant. It was really... So one of the things I do for my weekly protests, I take Bluetooth speakers and play protest songs, which everyone appreciates because protests can be a little dry. Well, so I'm in a like suburban area. I call it suburban. It's not really rural. It's a suburban area. And so obviously most of the protests in suburban areas take on these sort of roadside styles where you're sort of raising awareness of passing cars. That's kind of the typical style of that sort of thing, not like a city one where you're marching down a street or taking up a park or stuff like that, right? It's a roadside. And the thing about roadside ones is that they are not really well structured to accommodate like chanting, right? Like chanting is one of the typical sort of activities that you do for sort of motivation and solidarity building and those sorts of things at a protest. And roadside ones are just not structured for that, right? You've got a line strung out for an extended period. So like I find bringing protest music to be extremely valuable, and everyone is always appreciative of the music that's there. Why I say that is because like obviously there has been a sort of pickup of like anti-ICE songs about Minneapolis, things of that nature lately, which, you know, relevant and great. But this weekend it was like, those handful of anti-war songs, and then, you know, that I have had on my list are right back into meaningful relevance again. Not that they weren't, I left them there because I knew they would be. And here we are. Like, well, I guess I could search for more anti-war songs because here we are. Back in that bullshit. Again, however, the one thing that I will say on this, I know we were kind of hoping to ignore the news, but it's, I have to talk about it, obviously. Hey, Whitney. I did indeed see that, and obviously that shit is going to be like fought in the courts like immediately, which it absolutely has been. I'm pretty sure, because there was a similar measure that was taken previously that eventually got fought in the courts and obviously found that you don't get to do that shit. But of course, damage is done during that time, so it's not like it's still bullshit, obviously. But damn, these Tonfas just kick ass. I got this. Ooh. Nope, not coming. What was I saying? Oh, right. The one sort of thing that I can say, like, the one... It's not a good thing. It's obviously objectively bad that all this shit is happening. But the thing is that there's simply, like... They have... Ooh, Alfredo. Scobalts, hello. Whitney, hello, if I didn't say it. I might have just immediately gone into answering your question. But hello. So, the one thing I will say is that the current U.S. regime has no chill. And again, on the accelerationist front, like, the whole no-chill thing is real bad in a short-term sense of, like, people are going to die. We don't like that. The counterpoint to that is, like, his timing is really bad. Like, he thinks that this is going to help somehow, but this is, like, everything he does shaves off some additional portion of whatever support he has remaining. Obviously, he has some degree of cultists that will never back down. The true pro-fascist dickwagons that are just, like, here for it, right? Like, they like the stuff that's happening, and that is a very small subset of the electorate in the U.S. But they do exist, obviously. But every different thing he strikes at, I don't blame you, Whitney. That is an entirely valid perspective as well. But, like, there is some subset of, like, Republican support that are cognizant enough to remember, you know, like, the Iraq War. And, because you have to remember that one of the things Trump ran on quite significantly was being the anti-war president. Like, he was like, if you vote for Kamala, we are going to be in another war. If you vote for me, that won't happen. Like, that's what you're gonna get. No wars with me, forever wars with my opposition. So, like, he built some of his support on the back of that premise. We all knew that that was a lie, right? Everybody that was paying attention was like, he's full of shit. But, like, some of his support didn't think that was a lie. And so, like, all of his different actions, right? What he's done to the economy, the way he's bungled the immigration efforts, all of this shit that he's done spits in the eye of another different subset of the support that got him elected, because he had big moves into the Hispanic population and the black population, right? Like, that was a thing that he made headway on for some reason. I don't know. But, like, he's just, this year, he is just straight up spitting in the eye of all of the sort of, like, headway that had been made in the support that got him where he's at. And it will not end well. Like, everyone will hate him. And that's good that everyone will hate him. And everyone will hate him at the correct time to hate him during the midterms, which is important. Like, that is precisely when everyone needs to hate him. Bro, what the heck? So, like, it sucks that what he is doing is harmful. Obviously, that's bad. But the things that he is doing that are harmful are also tactical mistakes, I guess, is the way it comes out to. And that's the thing is like, you're getting to... There is no legal way for that to be effective, right? Like, that is true, Kappa. But, like, that doesn't work legally. And obviously the counter argument is like, well, he'll just do whatever he wants. But, like, sure, but, like, yeah, exactly. It's like, yes, it's, he will try. It's not legal, and functionally speaking, it's also, like, one of those unenforceable actions. 'Cause, like, I mean, I can't predict what might happen if, again, he just doesn't, like, oh, well, those people won their elections. Well, too bad. They're just not going to be put in place or whatever. Like, obviously, those are always all options. But, like, I don't really know what's likely to happen if he does try to do that. Because it's just so unprecedented. But, like, he is just continuing to do things that, like, everyone hates. Well, there's certainly issues with the freaking Supreme Court. That's a whole ass issue as well, but technically the way he tried to accomplish that was by utilizing a different tariff mechanism, because technically the Supreme Court only spoke to the tariffs applied via IEPA, which is a particular emergency power, because obviously there's no emergency and blah, blah, blah. Dude, that attack rules so much. And so he used a different power to claim that he could still go back and add the tariffs, which obviously is bullshit. But yes, it's a whole thing. It's just this continual fight. But he continues to flail in a desperate way. Like, he's not doing well. It doesn't matter that he's not doing well, because harm is certainly coming from what he is doing. But he is not doing well. And another thing about, like, the election stuff, right? Because, like, the concerns are, like, he's gonna put people in the way, he's gonna manipulate, like, he's gonna have, you know, like, ICE show up, and, like, there are just too many polling places to effectively do that. Granted, obviously you can say, well, they need less of the polling places to really be a problem, because they can just hit the places that are swing districts and blah, blah, blah. But the thing is he is, at this point, doing his damn best to make literally everything a swing district, because everyone will hate him. But I don't know. I still remain somewhat optimistic, simply because, like, you have to stay optimistic. Otherwise, like, what the hell are we going to do? But I think the reality is we are going to come out the other side of it and win on the side of, like, justice and democracy. We will. The question is only how long it's going to take to get there. And that is cold comfort in many ways, but it is what it is. Like, he simply will not remain forever. He's simply too unpopular. He's too harmful. He's too goddamn old. He just doesn't have control. that he needs to actually keep a hold of what he's trying to accomplish. And like, we just gotta do everything we can to get rid of him as fast as we can to minimize how much harm is done. That's what I think, at least. There is no reason to succumb to doomerism, at least. I hear that, Chijiko, but I don't see it quite. There it is. Where does it stop? Because he has so tremendously exposed himself to hate by sending troops to Iran. Because, like, as soon as U.S. casualties start to occur, it is going to be, like, an absolute disaster for him. People will not like that. Tiny onion that's a shallot? Talking about the shallots. Yeah, the shallots. Yeah, we got a lot of shit to fix. And we need the right people that are actually willing to fix it. Hopefully that will occur. Honestly, if given the opportunity, I really would love to just leave the U.S., but here we are, so we got to do the best we can. Man, getting the right like weapon and skill set together has made this game so much more satisfying. It really has elevated my satisfaction. Brilliant. No notes. Perfectly executed. Thanks, bro. No notes. Ah, it's one of you guys. I got you this. I got you this. Poorly timed. Ow. Ow. That bomb is so good. Oh, is this one of the Jizos I can pray at? Hold on. Do I need to get this guy a head? Really a torso? Kodama! Love these little guys. Centric's waist guard something +1? I don't know what that means. Alright, how are we doing? Exploration level 3 now. Okay, so there's a 6 Jizo back there. Anyway, outside of that bullshit, how have you been, Whitney? How's life treating you? In the more microcosm sense, rather than, you know, the larger concerns of reality that are far more outside of our control.
Takeda Shingen. To be able to painting Takeda Shingen is the very reason I left home.
What were you looking for?
I've become a ghost.
Oh no, you got it.
Maybe that's why I'm able to sense the thoughts and feelings that dwell within things. Now I should be able to portray Lord Shingen's true nature. I can see you have an artistic eye as well.
Do I?
Surely it must be fate that we met here. If you acquire anything of Lord Shingen's, will you show it to me?
Sure. Acquire something related to Takeda Shingen. I just want to go unlock this. Thank you very much. Whee. So this is, yeah, so this is back in the level 35 area. Okay, so then there's also a Chijuko that way. Enemy base that I couldn't figure out how to get into. Lesser Crucible. Okay, let's see here. Go try to get those 6 Jizo. That item on the roof will forever be lost. A real tragedy. Oh yeah, Kappa. I was gonna ask. What is 1700 is the max? Sure. Kappa, how long are you in your, like, doing your show? Wasted 5 to 6 months of your life. What happened? Like, when's your show wrapped up, Kappa? Sorry, I'm now running 2 conversations. Because I was thinking, I was just thinking about earlier of, like, 313 ends 322. Okay. Okay. So that's not too long. Because I was thinking about, like, oh, what, you know, the next sort of old nostalgia RPG might I want to play. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's kind of why I stopped doing that. Because Kappa's not around. Also, I had other stuff to do. Now, ex-boyfriend promised he would move from the west coast to the D.C. area. He changed his mind and he wanted me to move to Cali. And yeah, that's a whole thing. That's something. Well, I was actually thinking about playing Final Fantasy VII. I don't remember exactly why Final 7, FF7 came to mind, but I was like, 7. Final Fantasy 7 is so good. The old one. The OG FF7. I am sorry that happened to you, Whitney. That sucks. And is unfortunate. Yeah. Yeah. We have definitely not played 7. We played 8, 9 is what we've played on stream. I have never streamed Final Fantasy 7. And honestly, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII in quite some time, actually. It's very good.
Well, these demons are cursed from those with enmity.
And it feels also appropriate to
Please,
bring out a
keep
game
Lord
that
Your
is,
Master
you know,
safe.
anti-corporate power. That's always a nice appropriate sort of circumstance to be cooking. Okay, so I got to do something about that enemy base in that box, and then I will have this properly fully explored. Yeah, I mean 10 will definitely be on the docket as well. But 7 has been sort of nagging at my mind to go back to and play. Bam. Also, Whitney, on the upside, it's at least fortunate that that was resolved within 5 to 6 months, right? Because there's always the circumstances where folks end up in 3, 4, 5, 6 year relationships and don't figure out their shit, and then that goes south, and then it's like, that's even more time. 5, 6 months, that's, you know, unfortunate, but I don't know, maybe I'm just old and I'm like, well, at least it's only 5 to 6 months. Not to minimize the suckiness, of course. Trying to find that silver lining. Or at least a bronze lining. Let's go for a bronze lining. Oh, man. Speaking of medals, those Winter Olympics, eh? USA hockey. Men's USA hockey. Shitbags. Women's USA hockey. Rad. Like, did everybody see like Flava Flav continuing to be like the most based old weirdos? I mean, Flava Flav has made an entire career of being a weirdo, and he has just kind of continued to become more like, I don't know, like, weirdo, I guess, has become a little more in vogue. And, you know, he's kind of the sick, actually. Like, what a guy. Like, legitimately one of the biggest champions for, like, women's sports and shit. So I don't know if folks were not aware, the whole shenanigan that I'm sort of referring to is that both the men's and women's U.S. hockey teams in the Olympics won gold. The men's hockey team turned gross immediately because, one, they were like celebrating with Pete Hegseth. Gross. No, it was Kash Patel, not Pete Hegseth. Sorry. The other asshole man. Kash Patel. Turbo gross. Kash Patel also turbo gross. But then also, they like, Patel called the president while they were celebrating, and they have him on, like, on the phone call just being a dickhead to the women's team, because of course he's a dickhead to the women's team, because he's a misogynist old man, like, gross. And so eventually at first only the men got invited to the White House, but then they did, like, eventually Trump invited the women because, like, he said he had to, or like they'd cancel him was probably the thing he said, but like a thing that has actually never happened. Okay, Whitney, that part I didn't see, and that's incredible in the worst way. But anyways, but the women turned Trump down. The men did not. And so they went and grossly celebrated with Trump, except for 5. 5 of them did not go, 4 of which were from Minnesota. So, you know, obviously. But then, so then Flava Flav rolls in, and he's like, hey, the women's team, how about you have an actual party with me in Las Vegas? Won't that be cool? And so then they were like, yeah, okay, we could do that. And like, he's essentially on Blue Sky posting like, no, but seriously, hey Gus, my my manager group has freaking sent shit to, you know, the team to get them to Las Vegas and make the plans. And then he opened it up to like any of the medal winner, like women medal winners from the Olympics, and it's like, way to go. So now there's this huge banging party that's apparently going to happen in Las Vegas for all the women Olympians, which is like great. I love that for them. It's just, it's an endearing story arc of asshole men just being total losers. Because, like, also, there's pictures that the meal they were served in the White House was, like, shitty-ass burgers. And it's like, cool, thanks. God, that bomb's awesome. They also went and met the Canadian, the women. The women also met Canadian Prime Minister, I think, with the Canadian women's team, who they played. It was Canada and the U.S. I think in both games, which is kind of nuts, both sides. And it's heartwarming to see the juxtaposition between the women and the men, and no one should be surprised that the stupid jock sportsmen are just a bunch of little shitheads that suck ass. But anyway, that's really all the most that I have
looks like there were survivors after all.
Gotten out.
My way.
Okay, bye. Out of the Olympics. I have not been paying attention at all. There were apparently some, like, cheating scandals. One of which was in curling, which is kind of funny. Search for clues about the suspicious man.
I heard ninja were
But
lurking
yeah,
in this abandoned temple, but it's crawling with yokai.
The Olympics actually, like, broadly speaking, kind of suck. Like, not from a this is a shitty thing to enjoy or it's lame or anything, but they're run poorly. They're really bad for the cities they go to. Like, it's kind of shitty. I don't, Gus. I have been keeping track of the hottest sort of like talking points that have come out of it. Like that's all I've got. I'm actually pretty anti-Olympics just because like, well, and I guess it's frustrating, right? Because I like the idea of the Olympics, what the Olympics sort of nominally stand for, and then it's like a chance for the world to come together in sort of a peaceful way and just like do something together. Like, I think that's cool and good. But just like everything else, it's been so capitalismed, right? I don't really like capitalized, I guess would be technically the verb term, but like it has been done a capitalism, and it just like it's shitty the way it's handled. I'm sure the Olympic Committee is a corrupt piece of shit, because every committee like that sort of thing is a corrupt piece of shit. Looking at you, FIFA. Oh shit. I didn't mean to do that. Or did you do that on your own? But the big thing is, like, it's really bad for the cities it ends up in. Well, and because part of that is because of the way, like, that's part of the, sorry, I'm trying to speak and also deal with this asshole. Part of the issue with the, the Olympic Committee is around the way it chooses the cities it goes to, if I remember correctly. This is pulling information from like from quite some time ago that I remember like seeing stuff about this. But like it sort of encourages, or it leans towards cities that are like, we're gonna build new infrastructure and we're gonna get you these awesome stadiums and this and that, and they sort of like frown upon or poo-poo or like deprioritize cities that are like, hey, we have an existing infrastructure and we're gonna use these like event spaces that we have already existing, and it's gonna be great. Because Jesus Christ, that guy beat the shit out of me. And so, and every time, exactly, and that's the issue, is it's more than half the time. Almost every time these major buildings are made for the Olympics, they're never used again. Like, there's no plan for what to do with them after the Olympics. It's terrible for these cities. These cities take on huge cost burdens. They never sort of come out ahead on like what comes in to the country or the city for the event itself. And it sucks. Like, it's terrible. Yeah, exactly. It's like these cities just waste all of this money on this shit when it's like, you know, I don't know, maybe improve your transit system for that amount of money. It's like, we're gonna build $3 billion worth of state. I don't even know how much they cost, honestly. $3 billion might be shooting it dramatically. Like these could be $11 billion build-outs or whatever. And it's like, I don't know, maybe put that into your transit system instead, or something. It's just taking huge amounts of money out of these communities that could be done into other stuff. Well, not, and that of course doesn't even go into the like the perpetual issue of building these sorts of things, which always ends up in poorer neighborhoods because property values are lower. So it's easier to eminent domain a whole ass community of houses to turn into a stupid ass giant stadium with a stupid ass giant parking lot. And so it's like, oh yeah, we'll just, you know, dislocate this entire community of people that are already disadvantaged. It's like, come on. So like, that's the assumption, is that they're like banking on this idea that the game's income will like even it out, but it doesn't. I don't understand this premise from like municipalities in general, where they just are wrong, like, about a lot of shit. It's like they're constantly giving subsidies to rich assholes to build stadiums for any number of things, quite frankly. Like, I just don't think rich people need the cities to help them pay for stadiums, for for-profit stadiums, because of, like, tourism or shit. Like, no. They're trying to make money. They can pay for their shit. As well as this, there's been some reporting I've seen about, like, the data centers, right? And areas that have been courting, bringing in the data centers and, like, giving them big property tax discounts to encourage them to move in. And then they move in and turns out that, like, now there's no property taxes to pay for schools. And it turns out that they don't actually create very many jobs. And so it's like, stop just, like, pushing this shit and pulling in stuff that just never materializes. Like, I don't know why they seem to be under this impression that this still works. I don't even know if it ever did. It's like, I don't know if this is some, like, Reagan-era bullshit. But they gotta stop with this shit. Boy, I hope... I hope that there has not been any new people tuning into stream, because I tell you what, this is a hot one for people to show up on. Although, to be fair, if they're not willing to listen to me complain about socioeconomic circumstances, I suppose they're not in the right place. This is why nobody comes to my streams. I'm insufferable. Right. That's the issue. I forgot. I can only blame YouTube so much. And I have a lot of blame for YouTube, but we all know I'm insufferable. Well, thank you guys. I collect my small number of like-minded individuals, and I appreciate that very much so. Okay, why is every door locked here? Oh, I guess I gotta go around here. Okay, here we go. Backstabbies. The Tonfa are so much better than every weapon I have used up to now. Bastard.
Something ominous in the air. Not even the Buddha's protection will reach us here.
Oh, speaking of Tonfas, did I blow his ass up? I sure did. I got you there. Did I kill him? I think it did. I did have a very nice protest today, though. For anybody in the U.S., I would, especially for anyone in the U.S. that is feeling despondent or like the world is out of control, I would highly encourage you to try to find protests in your area. Because going somewhere with like-minded people is very beneficial to your well-being. Like, people are like-minded, you get to have purpose, you will be doing something to better the environment, and by environment I mean social and political environment, not environment, unless it's an environmental protest, in which case you're doing both. But it helps. It's good. It's good to do. It makes a difference. And it's also good for your mental well-being to, like, take actions for betterment. So anyway, it was a very nice protest. More and more, the amount of support of passing by people continues to grow, and the number of obvious assholes who want to yell or flip you off or, you know, otherwise show dissatisfaction are, one, diminishing, and two, looking increasingly stupid. I personally have been working with Indivisible in my area. That's a good, like, generally national organization that you can find local chapters of wherever you happen to be. And that can really help. It certainly helps me. Like, going out and feeling like you have a purpose and that you are doing something really helps. Yeah. Very specifically, ChatGPT is, and OpenAI specifically, is doing very badly from what I have seen. There have been a lot of different moves lately that have, like, some of the things that had helped build up OpenAI lately had been some, like, verbal agreements for investment from NVIDIA and things like that, which in the last month or so, like, it's been a couple weeks now, but NVIDIA's CEO was like, oh, no. We said we would potentially invest up to 100 million. That wasn't a strong agreement, blah, blah. So, like, turbo backpedaled, which looks really bad for OpenAI. OpenAI continues to just look like they're not going to be able to be financially solvent. Actually, they have potentially, I don't know how it's going to shake out yet, but there is also an interesting circumstance that just occurred because, secret skill. OpenAI, Sam Altman, tweeted out literally yesterday about how they had managed to come to an agreement with the Department of Defense to get, like, their ChatGPT shit working with the military and whatnot and stuff, because this had been a direct reaction to the fact that Anthropic was taking a shocking moral stance against the Department of Defense because they wanted specific restrictions on the use of AI as an autonomous weapon and like unsupervised shit not being allowed, blah, blah, blah. And so Anthropic was like, no, we're not going to be able, like, we're not coming to an agreement. What the? I don't think I healed myself. Right, so Anthropic was like, we're not coming to an agreement on this because we have sort of like a firm red line stance on this. Like, this is a line that's not going to be crossed. And so then I should have maybe opened this door because I did walk to the other side of it. Damn. And so the interesting thing that had come out of that, however, is the fact that... So then OpenAI, like a couple days later, came out and was like, we have come to an agreement with the Department of Defense. And they seem to have alluded to Department of Defense was like fine with the things that Anthropic explicitly had said that they wanted. And like, it looked like the specifics of the deal for Sam, like the OpenAI, was what Anthropic was asking for. Like, it's unclear why that happened. That's pretty weird. And I mean, it just goes to show how desperate OpenAI is for like literally any win at all. Like, they need absolutely any win they can find. Now what I'm interested to see the outcome of that, of course, is because they did that yesterday, and then literally that night, the Department of Defense attacked Iran. Like, so that's not really a great look. Like, I don't know if you really want to be the AI that's getting along with that shit. And so, I don't know, I don't think that's going to go that well for OpenAI. They're just desperate for money. Other AI wins, I think Copilot is showing just like terrible adoption rate. Amongst like the despite Microsoft having rolled it out literally into everything, like paid Copilot usage is like really low from what I saw. It might, I don't remember, I think it might have been like 3.3% adoption amongst like the like business space, the enterprise in the enterprise space. And so it's just like Microsoft kind of talked about sort of stepping back a little bit. I did get a new graphics card because I finally hit the point where I was like reading the tea leaves of like the chip shortages, the impact on the other stuff, and I was like, NVIDIA was talking about how the next series they're making is gonna probably have to get pushed back to freaking 2028 or something. And so it's like, I was like, if I don't buy a GPU right now, I'm not going to get a new GPU for like 2 years. And so yes, I went out and I bought an AMD 9070 XT for $650, which is more than I wanted to pay for it. I believe MSRP is $550. Literally a week prior to me having purchased it, it was on sale for $600. But ultimately, I was like, I've got to go get one because if I don't, I will literally be stuck with the GPU I have for forever. It has been a dramatic improvement on all of my shit. It's much better. Like, it runs way, 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 way better. It's got way more VRAM, which has helped me run like the model alongside whatever I'm doing much, much, much better. Actually runs way like cooler. The fans run a lot less and a lot quieter, which is also nice. So like, I feel much better about having done that purchase after the fact than I did going into it, because I wasn't sure if it was going to be that major a boost over what I had previously, because what I had was passable. I really wanted either something from AMD that was like one step above this, so like a 9080 XT, or I wanted to hold out until the next generation. But the shit that is going down with the AI and the chip shortage and all of this nonsense, I was like, it's not gonna happen. Like, I have to go get it, or I'm going to end up at some point paying like $1,200 for a GPU that I don't want to pay $1,200 for. And so I did. I'm happy with that. And it's just like, man, what a freaking mess we have ourselves in on the video gaming, like the PC gaming space. It really sucks. I am so, like, all of the other major goings on obviously fill me with far more righteous indignation than PC gaming, but the PC gaming space makes me frustrated on a personal level, because it's like, with all of this other dog shit taking place, I can't even have a fucking hobby. Like, this is the thing I like. I like building PCs. I like getting new parts. I like upgrading. And it's like, I can't even have that. And it's so infuriating. I'm just like, this freaking sucks shit. It makes me so mad that that's just the way it is. I'm like, God damn it. This AI horse shit. I don't know, man. I just keep putting points into skill because damage numbers get big, and I'm like, big. Then I'm like, oh, maybe I should up my health, and then I'm like, I don't know, that's a pretty small number. Big number. Yeah, small number. But the big number. Oh, I'm a maniac. Well, and that's, Gus, that's a big part of why I had started playing some of the older games on stream. Because, one, I had the old GPU, and I was like, this isn't working very well, so I'll play old games. But also, it's just like, I like the old games, and so many of the new games are kind of shitty, and it's just like, it feels harder to get enthusiastic about new stuff a lot of times, and the old stuff is like, ah, yes, the good old days where you bought a disc, and you put the disc in, and it played good, and like, you had a completed experience. Maybe it was a little buggy because it wasn't connected to the internet. Speaking of not connected to the internet, oh man, we are going through it today. It's been a while since I've had as many regulars in chat at once, and so now I'm sorry you're here, and I'm just like unloading on you. To your point, Gus, I actually literally just said something extremely similar to my wife yesterday. I was like, it sucks that we have to be the generation that, like, we're correct about our nostalgia. Like, our shit was actually better back in the day. Because it was like, the food wasn't full of as much shit. Like, it wasn't as gross and bad and chemically as it is now. Like, the games were, like, just games. Cars was the thing that I was actually... Go ahead and ask your question, Whitney. I'm going to continue yelling about things, and then I'll get to that. Cars is another thing that is now bullshit, because I was segueing with... Speaking of things connected to the internet, new cars are also becoming bullshit because apparently a lot of cars just now report your driving back to headquarters, which then, as data, gets sold to your insurance companies so they can raise your insurance rates based on whatever perceived bad driving you do. I saw a particular case that they were talking about where somebody was like, hey, why is my shit getting worse? Like, the rates are going up, and, like, I keep getting told, like, all of this, and you can request the data, and he found out that, like, every day they were reporting a, like, fast stop due to near collision. And so, like, that was increasing his insurance rates. But what it was is, I guess, his cat that comes out to his driveway and, like, sits there every time he pulls in home from work and then stops in his driveway. And that was getting reported by the car back to, I think it was, like, Chevrolet that was, like, back to Chevrolet is like, oop, there's another fast stop near collision with this cat, or, like, this object, and it's like, that's my fucking cat, and I'm just parking in my driveway, and it's like, god damn it. And then they're like, Toyota, BMW started this shit, because there was a subscription fee that had to be paid to use your seat warmers. Like, literally, they were putting hardware in the car. It existed. It was there. They didn't have to install anything, but in order to use it, you had to pay a monthly subscription, which is insane. And they keep, like, more and more they're doing this shit, and it's like, oh my god. I also am like, I am not going to sell my car. Like, I watched a video where there were a couple, like, you know, quote-unquote car people sort, like, talking about it, and they were like, it's getting to the point where you might be better off taking, like, $35,000 and simply dropping a new engine into an older car to not deal with this shit, rather than buying a new $60,000 car that then makes you pay a monthly subscription and spies on your ass. It's like, oh my god. Anyway, what's the name of that cozy Eldritch game? Because I do like... I should play more Eldritch things to be on theme, I suppose. Also, I like them. But yeah, I would be curious to hear what that is. Oh, it's Kodama. People up here dying, apparently. Mix between Outer Wild loops and cozy. That sounds interesting. I liked Outer Wilds quite a bit. I never did go back and play the DLC. Grun. Okay, so that's interesting. That's certainly something I have not heard of. Which... I mean, there's lots of games I haven't heard of. That's not really notable in any sense, aside from the fact that makes it interesting to me, because I see a lot of things come across my radar. But that one I haven't. Let me write that down. Single player games. Grun. Grun, White Boy Grun. That will definitely have to be a title of a stream for that. But anyway, so yeah, new things suck ass. And that's a shame. Indie games, however, they are still holding up.
What?
Things made by passionate people still, you know, work. And that's the shit I can get behind. I got a key from that. Where is this key for exactly? Oh, I wonder if that's... Is it in here? Was it Washington State? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Who's that?
I did not see that bit of preemptive legislation. I apparently missed that one. Maybe it's over here that we can potentially open up. Oh, I have not gone up here yet. Oh, this might have been what we opened. Eat. Get that shit out. What the heck? These guys are kind of annoying. Just preemptively put forth a law that your employer can't chip you is such dystopian horse shit, and it's really unfortunate, especially because it feels like it's probably actually necessary. Like, come on, man. Yeah, it is a little bit surprising. Well, and... You know what? I don't want to go into that. That's a whole discussion I don't really feel like having. I was going to say something, but I was like, yeah, you know what? Never mind. Don't worry about it. They've been talking about it in the UK. I did not realize that. Bro, that's such crazy shit. Why is it like this? Corporations have got to be destroyed. Also billionaires. Also need destroyed. They gots to go. Go. You know, I really actually had thought that I'd come up this way before, and clearly I have not. Back in 06, they were talking about chipping. People don't drive because public transit's so good. Oh. Oh. So. Man, nothing is worse than, like, short-sighted freaking tech bros, right? It's like, only a dumbass tech bro is out here like, oh man, how convenient would it be if we just had chips that, like, that could be our ID. You could put, like, your credit card on it so that you could just, you know, could be an NFC chip, and you just walk up and you wave your arm, and that'll pay for your, you know, pay for your groceries. You don't have to have a wallet on you. And, like, these friggin' people are like, that's really short-sighted. Like, come on, man.
These are some premium stones. Stack 'em high in Hamamatsu Castle.
The surveillance
rock
state
solid.
is a real-ass problem. A real, like... It's... I'm sure everybody has seen that meme, right? Where it's like... Tech enthusiasts, tech bros are like... Oh yeah, I love my smart house, my smart devices, I have a Ring camera, I have, like, everything smart and tech, it's like, it's all wired together, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, people who actually work in tech... Like, the only piece of technology I have is a printer, and I have a gun next to it in case it makes any weird noises I'm not familiar with, right? And it really does feel like that sometimes, because it's like the degree to which people do not understand the level of analytics that occur on all of the shit that you do on apps is like... That just... makes everybody uncomfortable, and it should make everybody uncomfortable, and it's like, I don't like that. They so easily know all the shit about us. Just can keep track of what we're doing, where we're going, what we're doing online. It's a meme. I didn't come up with that joke. That's a... Oh, shit. I thought I could jump around the side there. It looked like there was a path up. There was not. That was rude. Sadly, I'm not that funny. That's a thing. I simply relate strongly to the sentiment, is where we're at. Like, yes. I work enough on the back end of technology to be like, yes. I did in fact put all of the, you know, I was participating in putting the analytics into our application to know when you have gone to a screen, when you have closed the screen, how many items you added to the cart, and if you abandoned the cart, and blah 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 blah. And it's like, bro, shut the fuck up. I do not need you yelling at my ass. The amount of surveillance shit is unnerving. Yes. Yes. So I don't know the specifics because I'm not much of a historian. And I've never really looked into it. But one of the interesting things to... So Luddite, right, often gets thrown around at... at people who are like, oh, they're resistant to technology. They're such a Luddite. Blah, 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 blah. Right? It's like an insult from dipshits. The thing about it is, like, apparently, I don't know the specifics, but from what I have seen people talk about with it, like, who do know more than me, the Luddites were, like, correct. Oh, yes. Oh, I saw the Ring commercial. Oh, yeah. That was certainly a wake-up call for a lot of people, and I had never felt so vindicated in not having a doorbell camera. I was like, yeah, that's definitely not a thing I want, actually. Freaking get... Bro. Cut her! But no, Luddites were, from my understanding, Luddites were, like, against the use of technology. But, like, I think the Luddites were actually, as a group, essentially a pro-worker sort of group that were specifically fighting against, like, technology taking the work of people and funneling wealth into the hands of, like, the capital class. I think. I don't remember, but essentially, like, the things that the Luddites were like, we shouldn't do this, bad things will happen. After the fact, the bad things had happened, and the Luddites were correct. Like, that's the thing. The Luddites were right. And that's what's, like, gets me. Is that right now, it's all of these tech assholes who are like, oh, you're just a Luddite. And it's like, fucking, you're right. I'm gonna be just as correct as they were back then. Thank you very much. I got you there. Yeah, honestly, the biggest shift in my thinking about somewhat technology, but, like, all kinds of stuff has, in the last, like, I don't really know, 5-10 years of my life, like, the main, probably less, 6 to 8 years of my life has been a tremendous pivot towards, like, does this help or hinder, like, human joy and human community? And there are so many things that are, like, detrimental to that shit that are just like, well, I hate it. Because, like, I never really cared for doorbell cameras very much at all, because it's just not actually socially helpful to build a society built on paranoia about your neighbors. I also found it very interesting. I saw somebody mention this about Ring specifically, which I didn't keep track of Ring or, like, who owned it or blah, 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 because I didn't have one and I didn't give a shit. But, like, they called out the fact that Ring specifically is owned by Amazon, right? And they push that shit claiming it's going to help you in a variety of reasons. But you know what it actually does? Because they get all of the video feeds, what it does is it reduces their package theft. It allows them to follow up on Amazon package theft. It's a self-protecting, like, move. They are just trying to prevent their own package theft, though they don't have to do, like, returns or, like, resend their stuff out. They are minimizing their own losses by convincing people to install Ring cameras. People benefiting from Ring cameras is a side effect that was never really important. It might have been important originally to, like, the original founders of Ring, but as with everything that someone at some point thought was a good idea and passionate about, it gets bought by a mega company, and then nobody's passionate about the actual good use of it, and it's just bullshit. It's just a bullshit money-making thing or a way to mitigate losses. And it's like, I had not paid attention to the fact that, like, Amazon owns Ring. So I was not familiar with that particular aspect of Ring's bullshit. But having heard that, I was like, oh, right, the bullshit. Yeah, like a wildlife camera, watching deer, I think that's cool. But, like, this push towards cloud-based shit, it's gots to go. Like, stop uploading your shit. Keep your shit to yourself. Also, try to meet real people around you. I have been on such a just tear of, like, I am trying to find everything that I can do at a local business instead of any major corporation. I was so excited to realize that I actually have a nearby local pharmacy still. I had been looking for one a while, which, fuck you, Google, for being so goddamn useless that I could literally put in, like, search for, like, local pharmacy, and the one local pharmacy near me is the one thing that doesn't show up. It's like, oh, here's a CVS. Here's a Walgreens. There's 8 more of those, and that's the only option you have. But I was thrilled to find out I had a local pharmacy, because I was like, if I can just start putting money there, I will absolutely do so. I have not gone over there yet, but I am very much going to do so soon, to be like, hey, so about, like, putting my prescriptions here. How does that work? Do I just tell them to ship it here? Anything I need to do? How's it going? Like, how long have you been here? Because I just hate corporations so goddamn much. Oh, Attack Mastery 2. Oh, there you are. One of the other things, one of the things that I found very frustrating, I was thinking about the other day, and I was like, one of the sorts of stores that are, like, seemingly impossible to buy at a local establishment and not a chain megacorp was, like, basic-ass home goods, in the vein of, like, your, like, cleaners and your paper towels and stuff, like the basic ass stuff. We get a lot of it from Costco, which Costco I give something of a pass for being a megacorp, because one, they're not a megacorp, but also it is still owned by the founder, and the founder cares about shit. And so I'll I'll accept that. But essentially the shit that you go to Target for, right? It's like some of that basic stuff. Like, my wife is like, I need to go get some tights. It's like, where the fuck can you get tights that aren't Walmart and Target? Like, what the heck? You can't find any of that shit anywhere that you're not just immediately funneling money into the pockets of the billionaires. It's like, cool. And that's a bummer. Honestly, if I had startup capital, I would, like, start a business like that just out of spite to be like, here it is. I don't know if it'd actually be profitable. You want to hear my... So, my big... Bad game balance. One of my big, like, ideas that I champion, and by champion I mean, I guess tell to you guys on my one platform that exists. The thing that I talk to friends about of, like, something that I think could be immediately accomplished, hopefully, and would... one, improve the lives of a lot of people, and would also start building potentially, like, confidence in, like, government's ability to make people's lives better, is I am of the opinion that, specifically in the U.S., right? The U.S. is shaped weird, and it's built weird, and it's kind of stupid. It's not very people-centric in the way it's built. And the zoning of what can be where is all dog shit. I think that in almost every neighborhood, right? So the U.S. has, like, in the suburb areas, there's, like, so many neighborhoods, your little subdivisions. I am of the opinion that, like, in all of these sorts of subdivisions, I think they, like... a pair of houses in each one of these should be bought by the government, county government, city government, I don't know who exactly. I think, like, a pair of houses that are next to each other should be bought. One half of this should be put in a convenience store, a government-run convenience store, where you can get all of these basic needs, some basic groceries, some snacks, like your sort of basic, fundamental bodega-style convenience store. And the one next to it should be made into a park with, like, benches and seating and stuff like that. And the goal would be to give, one, people would be able to work at these, right? You'd get some jobs. It would give every community a little community center where it's somewhere you can walk to, you can get your needs met, you can have some snacks. It gives you, you know, you can sit, you can meet your neighbors. Like, I think every neighborhood in the U.S. needs a little community center like that where people can meet and have their needs met. I think that would benefit society tremendously. And I think, broadly speaking, that could be accomplished without the loss of money, because I think they would be self-sustaining if you ran them correctly and built them up and whatever. I'm glad that the stream is working so well, Whitney. I'm glad that my shit functions again, because I was getting real tilted about it. So I'm glad that things look good. But I think that would benefit the U.S. because we have so few things that we can walk to, and, like, so few opportunities to, like, meet our neighbors. Like, everybody is just too isolated, and I think something like that would help, potentially.
I owe you one.
That's what I think should
Seems
happen.
I ticked off the Takeda a bit too much. Just a thought, but...
That's
you and those
my
Takeda yokai aren't
dream
exactly
scenario.
pals, yeah? How about we join up? Their master's gotta be around here somewhere.
Okay. I guess you can hang out with me, even though I'm much cooler than you.
I bet you thought I was a Takeda shinobi, huh? I was just tracking yokai. I haven't put a finger on any Tokugawa soldiers. Still, you need to track them down.
You know, he was talking about putting fingers on, I don't know, blah blah blah, anybody blah blah blah, but the fight started mid-sentence, and I really thought he was saying he hadn't put a finger in anybody, and I was like, dear God, I hope not. That's awesome, Kappa. I really need to figure out how to find some, like, neighborhood friend people. This is a challenge that I do not yet know how to deal with. Because it's like, dear God. Because again, like, what circumstance do I have to, like, actually do that? I need to just, like, put a sign in the yard. It's like, looking for neighborhood friends. I like board games, video games, books and things. Do you like those things? Ring my doorbell. I'm always at home because I work here. Protests can also be helpful for meeting new friends, by the way. Because when you go to a protest, you are filtering out assholes. You go to a protest that is protesting bad things, and thus you are good people. Generally, good people go to those protests. Doesn't guarantee they won't be annoying, but it does dramatically reduce the likelihood that they're an asshole, and that's good. Caught the cross street. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know, like, that's freaking where I'm gonna have to be this summer, I guess. Well, one benefit, I suppose, is that we do have a dog again. So walking dogs is one useful way to meet people in the neighborhood. Because, you know, dog. Everybody loves dog. Meet folks with dog. Oh yeah, and on the subject of dog, Phoebe's doing well. Today was one of the first days we left her out of her crate when we went to the protest. So I've been leaving her out of her crate when I go bicycling, but obviously I only bicycle for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes or whatever, which is the most that she'd be sort of on her own out in the house, and she'd always been fine. And so today we were gone obviously a couple hours at the protest, and we left her out of crate just loose in the house to be tooling about, and she did quite well as far as we can tell. There were no problems. She didn't mess anything up. She didn't get anywhere she wasn't supposed to be. She's being a good pupper. Run for local government. I honestly have thought about it. This year, my step this year is I'm going to sign up to do the like polling place work, election judging stuff. There is a useful website called runforsomething.net. Run for Something, which is a progressive leaning organization. I mean, not leaning, it's explicitly a progressive group that are looking for progressive folks to sort of invest time in and invest some money in and train and things for running for stuff near you that you could do. And I thought about looking into it this year, but like I haven't been like out and about meeting and greeting people. So like, it's not like people know me, right? I'm like, I've been active with protests and things, but I think I need to be a little more active in like getting to be a known quantity before I try to jump into something like that. Another thing about freaking local government is that it is kind of like a part-time gig because it does not pay enough to support an entire personage usually, because a lot of these local government stuff is like pays you like $30,000 a year, and that's a little bit difficult to sort of fit into my life at the moment, you know. It has strongly crossed my mind, though, Whitney. Like, I don't disagree with your assertion that this is a good idea, because I do like the prospect. I'm not sure what exactly I would try to do. Ow, I did not press that button. You know what? I forget my magic spells. But I do think that within the next few years,
That's their master, eh?
I will probably be running for some kind of government position locally. Because there's just too much bullshit and not enough people trying to improve things. You know, that's another thing, like,
And that's that.
my
Now
biggest
then, no point in keeping secrets from you anymore.
my biggest
The name's
push
Fuma Kotaro,
is,
shinobi under the employ of Sagami's Hojo clan. Been
well, let
hiding
this guy
out in
talk
the
first.
ruins to do recon on both the Tokugawa and Takeda. You saw that odd Takeda army, yeah? So long as the Hojo and Takeda are allies, taking action would breach the contract, but not avenging my men would soil the Fuma name. I got no ties to the Tokugawa, but I owe you. How about a sparring match as a thank you?
Oh, of
I'll
course.
gladly show you the arts of the Fuma if you want to see them.
Okay, good. He's not immediately jumping my bones. So yeah, like, my big championing philosophy, I guess, if I were to try to get into local government, which I am too disconnected from local government. I don't even really know, like, what positions there are, what each position does, which I think is probably true for so many people. Like, my prevailing, like, philosophy at this point is all about community. Because, like I mentioned, trying to build up communities with convenience stores and parks that you can walk to. Another thing that I really think should be done is all of the old shitty ass malls, right, that are just littering the country because nobody goes to malls. I think all of those need to be repurposed into community centers, like big ass community centers where local people that do, like, you know, their various crafts and artworks, and those can get like booths to sell their stuff because it's community made stuff. If, like, you have woodworkers in your neighborhood, you can go and you can, like, sell your woodworking shit. It would be somewhere that is open that you can just, like, go to. It could be an event space for community events. Because, so one of the things about me is that I grew up religious and I stopped being religious. And I still see people who continue to go to church strictly because it is a way for them to meet and like find community. And I think it is a glaring oversight and like shame that as a sort of populace, the job of community has simply been abdicated to religion. So you have to go get fed bullshit. Sorry to everybody who's religious. You have to go get fed bullshit to find friends. And I think it's a real problem. Like, every community should have community centers where you can just meet the people around you. That you can just, like, have a weekly time that you can just go and meet people. Like, a non-religious service. It doesn't even have to be a service. It's just like, oh yeah, the community center has the meet and greet potluck every Saturday. You can just go and meet people and find friends and network and like build up relationships, find people looking for jobs, find people looking for people to do jobs, like build community. And it's like, that's just not a thing anymore. This has been wholly abdicated to churches to do this shit. And that is a
I gave my word.
drastic failing
You're ready.
of the sort of social structure as a whole.
All right. Show me
And that's
what
a
you've got.
goddamn shame.
No holding back. I sure won't. A clash of shinobi, eh? All right, bring it. Hanzo taught you from what I can tell. This'll be fun.
Oh, shit. It's likely not chat. I am running, well, when you get to this, I'm running the DVR now. So you may need to double check that you're set on live, because you might have gotten left behind. Also, that was a bullshit amount of damage. I just like to point that out. So make sure you're caught up with stream, because you might have fallen behind. Where? Oh my god, it's up here. Oh, he's another master. That would make sense why it was harsh. Which I might turn off the DVR going forward, because this is like the second person who has struggled with it, as opposed to like the one person who commented that they find value in the DVR. So I don't know, man. I think it might be time to turn the thing off, because clearly it's causing too many people troubles. Ow. Shit. Get out of there. How did that miss? Don't die. My shit's still back there. did all of you assholes come from? How did this happen? Seaweaver, I don't know what you're responding to. There we go. No, I'm not running for president. Also, my toilet is yelling at me for some reason. Shut the hell up. Getting to the point where I might need to replace that thing. Doesn't seem to... I have to jiggle the handle sometimes, and I don't like having to do that. That's an annoyance. Definitely not running for president. That's way too much. Do I wanna... I don't want to take this on. I'll come back to this. I'll deal with the freaking masters later. Oh, wait. Can I get out the backside here? I can. This would have helped. I'm not running in anything. It's just something that I had thought of doing. And I probably will in the next few years do some sort of local governance. Oh, you know what? I need to remember to use chat. I need to use chat to respond to those points. Because I realize saying the words, oh, hey, yeah, you're probably not live, that's why you're behind by a couple minutes, is not as helpful when I know that they'll only get that memo in a couple minutes. It would be much better if I... These guys are such a pain in my goddamn ass. Get out of here. These guys annoy me. Where is this alleged crucible spike? Yes, no, I don't have immediate plans, but I expect I will in the next couple years. I had looked into it vaguely. I don't think this year is likely a good fit, just because I haven't done any sort of preparatory legwork. Yeah. I'm definitely going to turn off the stupid DVR. It is nothing but a headache. I know that it can be useful for some people, that they can go back and they can look at stuff. You can get clips and blah, 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 but like, one, YouTube clips don't do anything. They're like shitty as all hell. But then it's too many problems. It's too many damn problems. It just causes people headaches. If YouTube did that better so that it wasn't like just this constant trouble of like, oh, your connection flickered, so here's 12 seconds behind now, and now you're 30 seconds behind. It's just like every little, I don't know, something or other just can slip you out of sync, and it's like, god damn it. Yeah, this will be the last time that I'm running the DVR again for now. That shit is whack. That shit is whack. But yeah, I think I will probably try to do local government. I don't actually know how much any of my, like, online streaming will ever matter if I, like, do run for some sort of local office. Because, like, one, obviously, you could hypothetically identify who I am and, like, connect it to this. I mean, especially because of the fact that I guess I talk about the possibility of running for a local election. Like, if I did start running for a local election and I talked about it on stream, I'm sure that shit could, like, come together and somebody could figure that shit out. But, like, I don't know. I'm pretty consistently myself on here. So, like, I don't know. I don't think it would be much of a harm if somebody did find out. Yeah, more and more my whole shtick at this point is just like, government, especially local government, needs to be doing more to foster communities. That's my whole shtick. I don't know if I was talking about that earlier, Whitney. I don't know if you ended up skipping that because you were behind and then finally figured out that you were behind and blah, blah, blah. But, like, that's really become my defining philosophy. And one of the things that I think government should be doing is fostering community, because as it stands, that whole thing has been, like, abdicated to religious institutions, which is simply something I don't think should ever have happened. Like, people shouldn't feel pressured that they need to go to, like, a church or any other sort of religious event every week just so that they can find a sense of community. Like, that should be something that you can find in your physical community. But there's just, the US does a terrible job building communities that foster that, giving opportunities to foster that, putting money towards environments that, like, do that shit. Like, how many community centers have been closed down because it's like, well, the churches exist. And it's like, churches are not a default acceptable replacement for a community center.
You've arrived. These yokai are proving to be quite troublesome.
Like, how many election places are at churches? What the fuck? Like, we don't even have enough, like, government-run community center locations to do voting at. It's like, it fills up churches. It's like 4 of the voting areas around me in my district are churches. It's like, what about actual community centers? It's bullshit. Oh, aerial strike. Increase mid-air attack damage. Reduces key consumption by 10% while in mid-air. Increase damage out by final blow and grapple. Oh, attack mastery 2 is more costly, but I can afford it. Defense mastery. I mean, I don't even use this, but I guess I'll set it anyway. Okay, so stamina's like almost as much health as constitution, with the benefit of also giving me some weight limit, so maybe I could upgrade to heavier armor. Maybe that's a good idea. Not another one of these assholes. At your local polling place is a church? Yeah. It's like, it's just it's this weird assumption that has been allowed to bleed into the very fabric of Americans like society, and it's just gone far too long without sort of critical thought. Because it's like, another thing is like, I mean, it's the same sort of attitude that a lot of especially religious Americans are like, oh no, the government shouldn't be doing that. That's something that like charities are for. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? We shouldn't be like, that's exactly what the government is for, to take care of the populace. We shouldn't leave it up to charities. Like, we have allowed churches and charities to steal so much of the social fabric from them for themselves, to make themselves this necessary component of life so that they can continue to spread their, like, doctrine. And I recognize that some people do actually believe, and I am extremely anti-religion, so yes, maybe I'm not the best messenger for that shit, but, like, come on. Like, we shouldn't be ceding that power as a community. It's like, it's pretty rich, right, to talk about the separation of church and state, and to have so many voting places be churches. Hello? Like, that's pretty weird, right? Like, we should have enough community centers for communities to vote not at a church. Well, yes, and that of course is tied into the whole, oh, they're tax-free thing. Is like, yes. I can have tremendous complaints about that shit as well, but like, even without those complaints, like, I still have issues, like at a very fundamental level, without even talking the money of the business, is just like, we are constructing our communities incorrectly. Oh my god, the mega churches are diabolical. They are vile bullshit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, we're... Alright, well, you know what? I wasn't hoping to get any new viewers today anyway. Why don't we just screech about religion as well? We've done our capitalism one. But yes, the fucking nerve of these people to talk about indoctrination based on, like, an ideology that just says you should be, you know what, you should be comfortable being yourself. That's indoctrination based on these people. Not literally a weekly gathering to get, like, I don't understand if church shit has changed in the last 30 years, right? Because, like, I went to church when I was young. I did, like, 25 years of that shit. They call it, like, indoctrination. Like, that's a thing they used to actually refer to it as. Like, that, they were very self-aware of the sort of, like, what was happening. Like, so I went to a Christian elementary school, and some of the stuff I remember very specifically is this, like, the fact that I remember them talking about how, like, it's really important for them to get, like, people to become believers before they're 18, because of the fact that the statistics show that once you're 18, you're just much less willing to believe, you know, the good word or the truth or whatever, right? Like how they put it, but it's literally just like get them young when it's easy to indoctrinate them. Like that's a recognized strategy within the church. Like that's what they do. Like that's what they do. And this idea that like it's other people indoctrinating. You know, this actually also ties to a video I was watching about today talking about a stupid website that was, you know, your anti-woke movie reviews and shit. And it's like, because you deserve to watch movies without politics in it. Just this idea that, like... Not this idea. Let me rephrase that. This misunderstanding that the reality is that everything is politics. Trying to convince someone that something is good and something else is not as good is politics. Believing that the current state of affairs is good and doesn't need changed is politics. All interhuman communication is politics. And so this bullshit claim towards apolitical existence from grifting bullshitters who want exactly the state of affairs to remain as it is, with this complete, like, disconnect that they might actually not know everyone's experience, is infuriating to me. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I see Whitney. The woman who pretended to have a starving baby. Yes, I did. I absolutely did. And that I'm not surprised about the results from the evangelical churches in the slightest. Because, like, I was watching somebody talk about it, which, of course, they were exactly correct. I am sufficiently familiar with, like, sort of mega church-ish. The church I went to when I was young was quite large. It was the town's mega church. It wasn't like to the extent as some of the other stuff, but it was like it was mega church adjacent for sure. Back in. God damn it. I don't know what the fuck that was. But essentially, like, for a lot of these churches, like, of course that's the reaction she would get, simply because the person that she's calling in that case is just like, she's functionally calling an office front desk. She's like, it's like if you called a freaking, you know, call up Harbor Freight's corporate office, right? And like the front desk phone answering person is functionally the person that she is getting a hold of. And it's like, yeah, that's bound to not get yourself much, like, helpful empathy, because it's like they're not anyone useful to you under the circumstances.
A fine display. It seems my expectations were not misplaced. Let's keep moving.
Because most evangelical churches are just a money-making operation. Like, they're just... It's just an office building. Our parents... So that's actually kind of an interesting circumstance. Our parents don't still go there, but quite frankly... I never felt like they were strongly invested in going in the first place. It was actually somewhat bizarre to me and Cap, I think, that we were put into a Christian school. Like, it was a private school. I don't know why that happened. Like, I never was, like, struck by our parents being particularly devout. Our dad wasn't even, like, a Christian until, like, we had been going there long enough that, like, we convinced him to become a Christian, essentially. By our being, like, raised that way at the church. But, like, they weren't really. And it was very strange. At this point, I actually kind of mentioned it a while back to my dad, and, like, I think Dad has some semblance of, like, belief, which is more than I have at this point, so whatever. Like, oh, Mom's dad was a preacher? Yeah, I guess that, I mean, it's gotta be that. I don't think I realized Mom's dad was a preacher.
We of the E-clan have presided over Nioh since antiquity, but recent years
Yeah,
have
I
seen
mean,
us lose our leaders, and even our castle has fallen to Takeda.
I mean, obviously it's hard to say because things would have been so different. Who knows what would have happened, but I certainly would have avoided a handful of years of freaking religious trauma had I not gone through that school as a child. So, you know, I'm not thrilled with that circumstance. But, you know, who knows? Maybe I would have been even more of an asshole if I'd gone to public school when I was a kid. Yeah, Kappa. The only benefit I have out of that is I have a few friends. The friends that I play with weekly on Sunday are my, because we went to a Christian college friends. So, like, I still have friends that I can continue to be friends with from that time. So it's not a total waste. But, you know, who knows? Maybe I would have done better elsewhere. I mean, it's not like I graduated from the Christian college, so I guess, you know, I did my due diligence. Well, plus I met my wife at the college, so I guess, you know, that's pretty good. I came out ahead overall, I suppose. God damn you, little asshole. I hate these guys. Yeah, well, and that's, I guess, so that's a big reason, Kappa, why I get so mad about it, right? Because just like with everything else, if you're, like, close to being excellent and you fall short, I dislike that more than something that's just objectively terrible a lot of times, right? I find that less infuriating, which is true for the quality of games and software and things, and I also think I find that true for, like, religion. It's why it makes me so upset, because it's just like, you lying sacks of shit. You can't even do what you claim you're going to do. Like, you can't even do it right. Like, that's infuriating. And I think that's one of the reasons that a lot of my ire is sort of aimed at religion and not necessarily like believers. Because the reality is believers I can judge specifically on their own actions. And there are quite a few believers who are good people that are very authentic in thinking that what they believe is good for people, and then they do good things. Mr. Rogers, for example, a believer and just did good things. Like, that's the thing he did, was be good for others. But religion,
This is the E-clan's
broadly
temple.
speaking,
We should
is a
cleanse it of your
structure
kind, so
that,
my ancestors may once again
Pri-
rest
like,
in peace.
one, and most importantly, most religion, Christian religion, evangelical stuff especially, is something that primes people to believe or makes them susceptible to authoritarianism, because they are primed to believe in the authority of particular people because they have been given power by something, right? And I find that particularly problematic, because it's like, I mean, the perfect example, of course, is how easily Donald Trump was able to, like, use that to gain sway over Christian, like, evangelicals who, based on their beliefs, should hate his guts because he does everything that they say is bad. But all he had to do was talk about how, like, you know, he's doing God's things and God's with me and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, pastors and preachers were like, yeah, he's the godly guy for some reason. That didn't make any sense. But this, because everybody who sort of follows is primed to just uncritically follow figures of authority because they have been given authority, they're just like, okay, cool, I'm on board. And that's not good, actually. I can't say that I care for that at all. But then all of the other issues that I have with Christianity, of the actual beliefs and things that are purported in the Bible, blah, 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 blah. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. But, like, structurally speaking, I find a lot of problems with religion. Some are worse than others. But I have a great deal of fury and disdain due to the way my life has gone. I never use my power talisman. Use that more. What the corpse? Well, are there any other divisive topics that I should cover to ensure that nobody ever comes back to stream? We've hit the major ones, right? We've hit religion, we've hit capitalism, we've hit politics. Touched on AI. Who else do I need to hate me? Ow. I do like a good waffle fry. What's everybody's favorite shape of fry? That's non-controversial, right? What kind of fries do people like? We actually have it's not actually a local place. It's at least a chain of some variety. I don't know how big the chain is, but we have a place nearby that has a specific kind of fry that they call a scoop fry, which I had never had before. But they're so goddamn good. They're like, they're kind of shaped like a Frito almost, right? They're like a little long, they're a little chonky, they got like some thickum to them. They're like, call them scoop fries. And one, they scoop real good, so they're good for sauce. But, hi Phoebe. Phoebe has wandered up to stare at me. Hello. But like, where is the wife? Why can she not take care of you? I think she's in the basement. Sorry, Phoebe. But those scoop fries are killer. I am largely uninteresting on the pineapple pizza front. I don't have a particularly strong stance. I don't care for it. It's not a thing that I, like, ever seek out. But if it is around, like a Hawaiian pizza, you know, pineapple and ham, I'll eat it. I don't mind it. I'm like, it's okay. Oh, good. Phoebe has found her new favorite squeaker toy to be here with. We'll see if that's audible on stream. Pineapple and fries, I can't say I've ever tried. I don't have a strong desire to try just because I don't understand, I guess, what the goal is with that. So, like, I understand pineapple on pizza, or pineapple ham pizza. I understand the premise there, right? Because the goal is the ham and the pineapples interact in such a way as the ham's a little broken down. Like, that's the way it's intended. It does something specific. But the pineapple and fries, I don't see where that's gonna go. Not a fan of hot fruit. I'm not a fan of hot fruit in savory applications. Like, a nice fruit pie is nice. A warm fruit tart is nice. Some warm fruit maybe on a cheesecake or some, you know, any of that stuff I'm down for. Like, I'm okay with warm fruit in dessert applications. I think that's perfectly fine. But there are only a few fruit in savory applications. And it's usually like an on the side combination, not a direct, like, oh, I just put it on it. One of the things I remember growing up with in that sort of vein specifically is, so my mom would make tuna noodle casserole, which, like, only I and her would eat in the house. Nobody else liked. And so actually this is something that sort of continued into, like, when I went off to college and stuff. So, like, I'd go visit and it's something my mom would make when I'd come and visit, right? Because since I was the only one that would also eat it, she would never get to have tuna noodle casserole, because you can't make a whole-ass casserole and then eat it yourself. That's a hard few days. I've done it before, but it's a hard few days of one food. And so my mom would always make tuna noodle casserole if I'd come to visit, like, in college, because, oh, now we can both have some. And now the point is that tuna noodle casserole was always something that me and my mom would eat with applesauce on the side. We'd have applesauce, tuna noodle casserole, and maybe some cottage cheese. Like those 3 things together, like, and that was like a little meal. And so you'd have like tuna noodle casserole, you'd have some applesauce, and like that went. Pork also just historically is something that commonly goes with sweeter flavors, so you can put fruit with pork, maybe an apple glaze, maybe honey, things like that goes with ham and pork. But honestly, the tuna noodle casserole thing, that also is enough to get people probably upset about the fact that I will eat hot tuna, because that in and of itself is something that is like a prone to argumentation, right? Like, are you like hot tuna, yay or nay? It's like a lot of people are not keen on the hot tuna front. But personally, I enjoy tuna noodle casserole. I think it's quite tasty. I think I have as much magic as maybe I need. Oh yeah, dairy and fish. Tuna noodle casserole makes it work. I don't know what to tell you. I don't mind it. I think it's pretty good. I'm a fan. You know what I should do? I should check what my equipment front is looking like. 451 is the damage that we ended up with. Fried and roasted fish. You know, that's fair. I don't think that's tremendously uncommon, Gus. I would say that that's a pretty, like, it's certainly on the side of, like, common dietary, like, not restrictions, but, you know, like, preferences. Because, like, going for, like, raw fish in the form of sushi and stuff, I didn't do that when I was young. Like, that shit was like, no, not for me. I've grown on it dramatically over time. Like, I think that's a pretty common one for people not to be too keen on. And like, outside of that, you know, casseroles is like, I actually can't think of too many ways to make fish other than frying, roasting, or sushi. Actually, I'm like, huh. I mean, there's like fish salad in the form of like tuna salad or, you know, whatever. Phoebe is now sitting her head on my leg. Hi, Phoebe. I'm sorry that I'm in here doing this and unable to give you attention. I'm petting your head. Can you go bark at the basement door? Maybe that would get the wife to hear you. Can you go bark at the door? You just gonna sit there and stare at me? She's just sitting there and staring at me. Yeah. Were you able to hear any of the squeaks she's doing? She was squeaking her toy a little bit in here. I don't know if the noise gate killed it all. Hi, Phoebe. Would I ever make a model for puppers? I don't know necessarily what that would be. At the very least, okay, you could hear some of it. That's fine. I don't mind it too much. I do find that amusing, though. I don't have any reasonable way to make like a model in my style or theming to do that. No, the squeaks were not in the game. The squeaks were Phoebe. I, especially with Phoebe being like young, obviously she's gonna be around a long time now. She doesn't really come in here all that frequently, although if I'm alone or she does not have my wife to keep her distracted at all. It seems pretty consistent. Sorry, we're having a little puppy break as I pet her to give her attention. Can you... I'm trying to bop her on the side loud enough for the mic to pick up. A little bit. I can get a little bit. Yeah, I was like, I don't dislike the idea, because I could commission Snowy, who did my chibi model, you know, Seaweaver's fiance. Like, I could commission Snowy to do, like, a little chibi dog. I can send her some pictures of Phoebe and get, like, a little Phoebe chibi, which could get tied to, like, a puppy command, right? We had doggo, now we got puppy. Puppers. Phoebes. Phoebe. Whatever. Could do a command to bring it up, or some such nonsense. I don't dislike that idea. That could be something. I could make her a little bit, like, Eldritch themed. Give her a couple tentacles or something. That would put her in theme a little bit. Hi. Oh boy. Yeah, that attention was not enough. She's just gonna stand there and lick at my elbow. Hello. 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 It's kind of a shame that she does not, like... She doesn't really settle in my office. Because if she, like, settled in here and was, like, consistently in a bed, I could get, like, a puppy camera. But she is really not consistent in staying in here. And I don't know why. I never get dogs who will consistently stay in my office with me. They just wander off like a bunch of assholes to be anywhere else. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't have any open windows. I have all of them, like, covered with blinds pretty much at all times. So maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But they never hang out with me in here. But if she did, I could get a puppy camera for her. But, alas, such is life. What am I gonna do with you? She's just staring at me. With hope in her eyes. And assumedly also in her heart. What is it? Do you want to go outside? Is that what you need? You want to go outside? Alright, we might have to take a few minute break for me to go let Phoebe outside and give her a chance to wander about a little bit. Alright, I'll be right back. Just give me a couple minutes. I gotta deal with the dog, alright? Okay, I return. And we're back to doing this again. Okay, good. Okay, well, screw you, model demo. Are we gonna be okay? I don't know what. Okay, it's like I don't actually know what happens if you do a launch in the middle of a model demo, because they both try to control the camera. Well, we just get a little bit of nonsense, I guess, is what happens. You know, speaking of derpy face, it's pretty subtle, so I don't know if anybody has actually noticed. But I did actually refine some of the face tracking, so I don't know if anybody has been able to tell. But it is a little more refined in very small ways. It's pretty subtle. There's a little more squintiness to the eyes, because I finally got into vNeon. I went in there and I did some actual adjusting of scale of some of the values that just didn't get very high. So some of the things were like squints, cheek squint, some of the mouth up and stuff that I saw even at like the extremes of what I did, like as I was I'm talking. Anyway, what I was saying. I actually entirely lost my train of thought. Some of the values, even at the extremes of what I could possibly do with my face, only went up to like 25 out of 100, which was sort of restraining the potential use of those values. So like squint, like cheek squints, we're only going up to like 23 at the absolute maximum. And so it was doing such a small amount of shifting of the actual face structure that like imperceptible, totally imperceptible. So I cranked those up by like, well, a factor of 4. So that it's like, once it actually gets to, you know, the extremes that I will do with my face, that it will actually get to the limit of what it can actually do to the model. So a few of those things, I think like the eye widening, I think might have gone up a little bit. The squinting went up a little bit. Some of the extremes on the mouth, I think I extended a little bit, just so that like there should be a little more subtlety into the animation. So I don't know if it's perceptible at all, but it made me feel good to actually like do some work on the model and like have accomplished some variety of improvement at all. So that's where we're at there. Is this still the highest level? It is. Okay, so like this is... Ooh, 75 life. That's pretty good. I'm gonna equip that. Okay, so the Uma Chief robes are the heavier one. That's a shitty version of it, but... I do have the dangly things on my shoulders. I have had those for a while, but I'm still glad you noticed them. I do have a few... finally, it's been a really long time since I have been, like, inspired or motivated enough to, like, consider model updates. Like, I don't know if it was a degree of burnout or a sense of satisfaction to where I had been, but, like, I have not, for a long time, really had a desire or ideas towards, like, model updates. But recently, there are a few that I'm like, I think I have ideas to actually implement and experiment with. So that's something that will hopefully be upcoming at some point. I've at the very least opened up Unity and done some experimentation to see if certain things were even possible as I was working on them, which to some extent they were, but I have to figure out another half of it if it's possible. I remembered just, I think yesterday actually on my bike ride, I was thinking about it. I remembered possibly the Unity element that I need to make something work. Specifically, that was an eye redesign, because the eyes are something that I have consistently been fine with, but not like thrilled with, especially recently. One, because I have some like semi-pre-made eyes at this point. Two, the eyelashes, I don't know what you want to call them, and eyebrows are the oldest aspect of this model. Those persist from the very beginning of this model, and it's like I have got to come up with something to replace them with just to be like different, because they've just been the same. I do have some ideas towards that, so I was doing some experiments around the eyes, which I may have a way to work with, which will be interesting if I can get it to work. One of the problems with my eyes is they're very narrow. Very narrow. So there's like, I don't have a whole lot of space to work with. So like that's something I have to like overcome regardless. But we'll see what we could do. Gonna throw on some higher level stuff because I can, I guess, and not worry about it too much. Enhanced shrapnel bomb. I don't think I'm using the enhanced shrapnel bomb. I think it's just a regular shrapnel bomb, but I'm gonna equip that anyway. Buy some fake lashes, and I mean, I'm already rocking ridiculous fake lashes. Like, what are you talking about? Also, how dare you suggest that I am not already beautiful? Unbelievable. Oh, some of these can increase a max stock. I did not know that that was an option. I don't actually use any of those things, but it's interesting nonetheless. All right, well, it turns out I did not get that much out of changing my equipment. Also, I missed several things back here. Nurikabe, what the hell is that? Okay, so I got to fast travel here, so let's fast travel back down here. Did I... So there are... Okay, so directly behind me, I had opened this door. And there are Kodama, a box, and a Nurikabe out here. Somewhere. Yeah, get ready. Okay, so directly right here is seemingly a Kodama. Oh, perhaps it's up here. An item that I had missed. Oh, it's underneath. I honestly kind of same. So, to be fair, I don't know if it's a stream thing, but this is one of those things of like, this is a Souls-like, and they tried to put at least like NPCs to interact with, right? And like talk to me and tell me shit. And maybe From Software like fully understood that when you're like deep into a Souls-like, you simply stop paying attention to that shit, and maybe that's exactly why they do so much environmental storytelling. Oh, you're a Nurikabe. This is the first one of these I've found. But yeah, like, I'm so busy just fighting the dudes and getting through that, like, I have not properly been paying attention. So, let's cover the broad strokes, right? Let's recap where we're at and what the hell is happening. So, right now, I started the game. My name, I think, was Tachikia? Hold on. Hold on. I think I have... This might help. I have a recap. Here we go. Allow me to read the story. What has happened in the story? So, we started with a ceremony is what was happening. Today is the day I make my public debut as Shogun. Yet, my swordsmanship and etiquette are lacking, and I feel that I am better suited to painting. Do I truly have the makings of a Shogun? There is still some time before the ceremony. Actually, I think it's Shogun, but I can't possibly read it that way for having decades of reading it as Shogun. There's still some time before the ceremony, and I should be training with Yagyu Munenori and my brother Kunimatsu. I'd best follow him to the dojo. Dark clouds hang heavy in the skies above Edo, and strange beasts have infiltrated the dojo. What could have led to yokai attacking the castle? It seems that Kusanagi has something to say. Try to follow along. Kusanagi responded to my wish and has grown yet again. There's nothing else I can do for now, so I'd best leave at once. Those are not that helpful. Catch up. So, at the start of the game, we're doing the Shogun thing. The castle was attacked. I have a guardian beast. That's Kusanagi. And, like, all of my helper people that were, like, training with me, one of them betrayed all of the rest. The rest were killed. And I escaped. Sort of. But I think I was, like, knocked unconscious. Something happened at the end. I was then awakened in a different time. Like, I woke up in the past, I think. I think it was, like, based on these numbers, it was, like, 50 years in the past. And I had met an old-timey... I wish this was organized better. I wish I had a better, like... Catch me up on the story, please. So I traveled in time somehow. And then I came across... I don't know if it was an ancestor or at least some other shogunate of the time who was under attack by a yokai / other asshole shogun warring chief guy. So I decided to help the one. We did some fighting, and I've largely been assisting him at this point in the current juncture. This person who I came here for the quest seems to know to some extent, like, who I am in the sense of, like, I know what sort of person you are because you're not from this time or whatever.
Now, it's quite all right, but please be quick.
I think that that is hilarious, that if an NPC is with you, they remark on the fact that I am arbitrarily taking a bath in the hot springs. Hilarious. Okay, so there's one more box back here, but I'm not going to worry about that too. Well, yeah, I'm going to deal with that. And I'm not entirely sure what has brought us up to this specific temple. That's the piece that I'm kind of missing from this puzzle. Like, I recall the broad strokes. But what brought me here specifically, I can't recall. Things needed to be killed, and so I came and killed them. Like, that's my reasoning. It's pretty straightforward, you know? Ow. Oh, get absolutely juked, my dude. Okay, so there's a chest of some kind. I'm sure I knocked that over previously. No, I definitely didn't, because here's a goddamn cavern. Get wrecked. I hate these assholes. They're so squirrely. Also, I actually take a little bit of issue with their design. This is a very pedantic argument. I take a little bit of issue with their design because they're like shrieky enemies that use some form of like sonic attack, right? They make loud, horrible noises as their main form of attack, and it is annoying. But my issue is with their design, that they have enormous ears, as though just because they're like sonically associated, they both make loud noises but also have big ears for very good hearing, when I don't believe you would want big ears if you make shrieking noises, because you will deafen yourself. Like, I don't think that is correct. Also, I found this box and that was exciting. Hey, that's the first hand cannon I've found. Okay, now we can go up here. Well, I'm glad they are paying rapt attention. But
I sense a
then some
presence
design
stronger than
shenanigans.
anything we've faced yet. Prepare yourself, and let's go.
Boss time, boss time. Let's see here. I mean, I guess I just keep cranking skill. Meaty ears. Meteors. Boss fight, boss fight. My last few boss fights have been a beatdown. Well, this is a bigger fella. Woo! Oh, that, okay, okay, alright, sure, whatever. Jesus Christ. Damn it, that's annoying to get out of the way of. Man, one, like, lockdown like that, and all of a sudden, I just do a shit ton of damage. Ow. Ow. Okay, I don't like that. I did. Look at how much damage I did from that, like, lockdown. If you get stuck with me, it's a bad goddamn day. And now I just chip you away with thrown projectiles until you die. Get absolutely beat down. God, the Tonfas are so much better than the weapon I had. So, I agree, Whitney. One of the things that I really, really like about this game, like, broadly, Nioh as a series has been really good about this. It's exactly the type of Souls-like that I like, because if anybody was around when I played Sekiro, I didn't care for Sekiro that much. I didn't finish Sekiro because Sekiro gives you one way to play the game. Like, you get your one weapon, and there is an expected way for you to complete the game and do the thing. And some people, they love that type of challenge because it's like, you meet the game where it's at, and you, like, figure it out, you take that challenge, you complete it, and they like that. I didn't mesh with Sekiro's, like, combat system. I didn't mesh with that weapon and stuff, and, like, I didn't vibe with it, and so I left. That's one style of Souls-like, I think, where they're like, I have a vision for the way the game is played, and you have to step up to that vision. Sekiro is like that. Nine Souls was like that. I think the freaking bug game that just had an expansion. I can never remember the name of that goddamn game for some reason. Someone help. The Silk Song is the expansion. The actual name. The Silk. Okay, I'm looking up. Hold on. Silk Song. I'm just gonna look up Silk Song. Silk Song is Hollow Knight. Thank you. Hollow Knight, I think, to a lesser extent, has like a vision for the way the game is. Yes, Hollow Knight. Thank you. And like you to some extent have to meet it where it is. Dark Souls, Elden Ring, and Nioh are all examples of the other way where they set in front of you challenge, but then you have a wealth of options to put together like your play style, your strategy, how you want to approach the game. Because, you know, magic, different types of magic, lots of different weapons, different armor weights. You could be, you know, shields. Like, you have options to be like, what do I mesh with in this game to approach it and enjoy it the most? Nioh 3, I will also get to what you're talking about, the combat system, because the combat system is very notable and is very good for this sort of thing. That's what makes Nioh 3 like really stand out in its own way, is the combat system and like the speediness. But like the big thing here, let me pull this up because I haven't actually pulled it up. Like, Nioh 3 has a crazy amount of options to like build the game yourself. You have two styles, samurai and ninja, very different like styles. Samurai is very block and parry heavy. It's got a bit of a different go. Ninja is dodgy, quick, and has ninjutsu arts. Quite different. And you can freely switch between them. So you can use both. So you end up with like 3 ways. You can be like, I play as a samurai, I play as a ninja, or I weave them together. And then within samurai, you can see there are 7 weapons, which all play quite differently. And in fact, within those 7 weapons, each one has 3 stances, like a heavy attack stance, a middle stance attack stance, and a light attack stance. Light means you dodge a little bit more. Heavy means you dodge a little bit less. It's slower, but you have like different attacks. So there's like 7 weapons, one of which I have never found for some reason, but don't worry about that. 7 weapons, 3 stances each, which you can weave together or focus on one. And then within ninja, there are 7 weapons, no stances, but then you get ninja arts on top of them. And like, I started trying to play samurai, and it didn't mesh very well. I was playing samurai, I was playing spear. I liked the spears well enough, but surviving as a samurai wasn't working very well for me. Then I switched to ninja, and I meshed with the ninja arts a lot better, but I was using a kusarigama, which also wasn't quite matching what I was trying to accomplish. And so then I switched to the tanfa, and like, it all clicked. And like, then it was like, this is like where I'm at. And it's like way more satisfying. Like, I finally got where I wanted to be. Does the ninja have long range? Yes. So like, all of the stuff that you see me doing, like throwing kunai, throwing elemental talismans, I guess, and like bombs, all of those are the ninja arts. So like, I really like having those. There's also Omyo magic, I kind of forgot about. There's also magic. So this is considered a magic, which you can use as either of them, and like they fill other slots. So like, I have all of the elements covered between ninja arts and magic arts for like range. You can also summon your Onmyo like minion attack aids, which is cool. Like, there are just so many things to like weave together to like find the types of attacks and like the speed of your attacks and like the weapons, like heavy and slow versus light and quick, dual wield, single wield. Like, there are so many options to find, like, you can dial in what you like, which is really cool. That's like one of the reasons I really like Nioh, is because like I can like, this doesn't feel that good, I'm gonna switch over here. I did this doesn't quite feel right, I'll switch over here. Like, and then you dial it in and you're like, ooh, now we're going somewhere, which is actually why this stream is titled like, We've Gotten in the Groove, because that's, last stream was finding the groove finally, and now we're like, ooh, we got it. But yeah, as to the combat system itself, like, it's really cool, because so like, within these, you can unlock a lot of different abilities. So like, here, maybe it's better to show this menu. So within a weapon, there are so many more like attack chains and combos that are like, you can lean a lot more Devil May Cry spectacle combat game in this game than any other Dark Souls game I can think of. Like, it really, as a Souls-like, gives you those, like, Souls-like level enemy challenges, but then gives you the combat style that's way closer to something like a Devil May Cry, a Bayonetta, super combos, like, really swift weaving in and out, like, really cool stuff like that. Because you can see all of these are, like, specific attack combinations that I can work with, some of which I don't even have unlocked yet, right? So it's like, I can hold this attack, I can press it after I've done a quick attack, I can press the other button after I do a heavy attack, and then I can, like, I have this to weave in after I've attacked, and I can do this and press forward along with it, and I do something different, and then over here it's like, if I press forward and heavy attack, or backwards heavy attack, apparently I can press Y while dodging with an ability. There's also stuff that I can only do in midair. So it's like so many more interesting options to weave together than something like Dark Souls, right? Dark Souls, you have a light attack, you have a heavy attack, you have an attack art, you can have a spell alongside, you have consumable items, and then you have like one extra, like a forward attack usually, or like a dash attack and a forward attack. And like those are your attack sets, which I don't think is too few, by the way. The combat system in Dark Souls is good. The focus of it is a little different, right? It's like, how much can you get away with between enemy attacks? Where do you need to be standing to do the attack? Can you get a heavy attack? Can you get a light attack? Can you hold your heavy attack for a charged attack? Like, it's still a good combat system, but the focus is much different. It's a much smaller list of moves, and it's not nearly as flowy, right? This game is very flowy. Because, like, for instance, the tonfas especially are pretty sick, because I can actually do, like, a permanent combo. So this is a heavy attack. And if I attack a light attack immediately after a heavy attack, I follow it up, which is pretty sick, right? So we got, like, heavy attack, light attack. The thing is, though, is I can weave in, so this is the post-attack dodge sort of action. And so I can do, like, a heavy attack, light attack, and then go into this post-attack dodge. And that one can keep me alive. But then I have a different follow-up for if I had done that. And even different, I can forward dodge and get an attack immediately. So it's like, da, 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 da. And then you can just go directly into that other combo. And you can just combo the shit out of somebody. Which is why, as soon as I get them staggered, I beat the living shit out of them. And it feels very satisfying.
Peace will return to Liatan Temple. That yokai was the ghost of a former E-clan retainer who was killed for their betrayal. We can do naught but pray that their soul finds rest. Thank you once again. I couldn't have done this alone. Please, take this as a token of appreciation. I will return to Hamamatsu Castle. Safe travels, Lord Takachio.
Yeah, I really like the ninja because I, by default, just sort of naturally try to evade instead of dodge or parry. My evade timing is much better than trying to block or parry for some reason. I don't really know why. It just naturally works for the way my brain works. I really appreciate that they give the ninja a, like, perfect timed, like, dodge benefit. Because, like, that just works out great. Because now I get, like, essentially a dodge parry, which restores a bunch of stamina, essentially. It's not called stamina, it's chi or ki. I guess it's ki. But, like, great. I appreciate that greatly. E-clan? That's right. The E-clan. Do I like... Decreases... Advances for the enemy while subjecting them to a stream of powerful blows and generates an afterimage that attracts enemy attention. Decreases power. Interesting. Oh, and I could still block technically if I wanted to. There's even a bonus block if I wanted to perfect time block as with the tonfas, but like I don't do that. Who? No. No. Nobody does that. Oh, I want that so bad. Apparently it takes forever to charge that. Look at that. That has to be infinite damage. I want that so bad. Strong attack with a thrust from a strong thrust from a tonfa. It's single tonfa. Oh, there it is. Swiftly close the distance by hitting Y while dodging. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna... Well, let's see here. Let's... I'm gonna grab this. What's this? Strike the ground and use it to the recoil to launch yourself airborne. Interesting. I kind of want to do that. I got so many actions now. All right, let's assign some of these things. Okay, so hold Y. Let's try switching that, just, you know, for kicks and giggles. I don't really like the sweeping kick, so let's try that. Maybe that'll feel better. So that launches airborne, which is pretty cool. Neat. Well, thanks for hanging out, Whitney. I hope you have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Oh, damn. Look at all this stuff back here. We got Kodama we missed. We got... Oh, we can't get in there yet. We got a Chijiko. Crucible Wraith up here. Okay, let's go... I guess we'll go here. Yeah, see you around. Okay, so we got a bunch of stuff over here. Down... Oh, that's far. That's not somewhere I can just hop on down. Wait, that had like no charge up time at all. Jesus, that's fast. Holy. Dude, that's actually sick as hell. It does not do as much damage, I don't think. But it's so goddamn fast. I can just whip that shit out. Oh, here we go. Here we... Yeah, that's what I need. I missed that. Oh, no. Ah, it's fine. I didn't get hurt. I just botched the jump. Scampus. Come here, Scampus. Oh, he's... God damn it. It always seems mean almost to the Scampus, because, like, Scampus just sleeping. I'm like, oh, I'll pet him, and then he's like, oh my god! And then he runs off. Well, apparently they like that shit? I don't know. Hold on. Oh, shit. You know what? That might actually allow me to cross larger gaps than I'm supposed to be able to. Why do you do this to me? I definitely have to apparently time it correctly. That's certainly a risk. Just not timing it right. No! Oh, snuck over. You little bastard. You little bastard. Oh, I'm watching a Kappa run around like a dickhead. Damn it, it escaped. I didn't realize I triggered it. Damn you. Get out of here with that shit. Nope. 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 Stupid bugs. Okay, so then there's another thing here to get to. We have to go over here. There we go. Up this way. Whee! Oh. I don't really know why the amount that I can donate is, or offer, not donate, offer is limited. It seems to be specific numbers, but I'm not clear on why. Like what the significance of any of those numbers are. I need to see how that attack goes. That's very fast. I do like how quickly that moves into another attack. I need to figure out how much damage it does. Helps keep the combo going. I didn't like the sweeping kick so much. I felt like it took a long time to execute. Like that was the alternative. Where's this damn Kappa that I scared off last time? Where did that? Is it gone permanently? Do I only get the one chance? What the heck? I've been robbed. That's some bullshit. Where's this last Kodama? It looks to be just tucked over here. Literally in a box. Well, I have freed you from your box prison. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Also loot. It literally just rifle ammunition. Well, I don't give a shit. Again, waterfall. Let's see if I can figure out how to get up there. That seems relatively significant. I want those things. Okay, so we're not here. Out this way. Yay, Naruto run. You know what? Somehow I had not even noticed that that was the Naruto run up to now, somehow. When I get going at full speed like that. Did I not come up here, or was there some other thing that stopped me from going further? I don't think I think I just didn't come up here for some reason. Just maybe saw the path. Maybe you didn't even notice the path. Yeah, here we go. The freaking shrine right here. Do you have... Wow, I have really been not paying attention to my merit. Great. We're killing it. Great. You know, I never actually watched Naruto. I don't really know why. I might have just missed the timing. Like, when I was watching a lot of my early anime stuff, I think it was, like, a little before Naruto had really come about and become popular. Because, like, the early anime that I was watching that I remember, and why I kind of refer to the early animes, because that's when I was watching, like, broadcast stuff. And then, honestly, I haven't watched as much anime in quite some time. Now I do a lot more manga reading of just random crap. Like, a lot of random manga crap. It just kind of kills time on my phone. Oh, not the drowning weasel. But, like, the early stuff that I watched was, like, Outlaw Star is probably the one that I remember most fondly. Like, Outlaw Star was, like, a sick as hell, and I remember being so hyped up. Escaflowne, which I don't know that many people who are familiar with. That was also very cool. Tenshi Muyo, the Rurouni Kenshin, I had thought of the name of one of them a second ago, and then I said other things, and then it escaped my mind. Like, that era of anime, when it was on, you know, freaking Cartoon Network's Toonami. That's the shit I was watching. And that felt like it was just a little bit before the sort of bloom of, like, Naruto and that sort of genre-ish. Like, genre doesn't quite feel like the word that, like, what I'm thinking of, but Well, and I honestly, I think that really, the stuff that I had watched really informed, like, what I liked about anime, and stuff like Naruto was really contrary to the things that I did like about anime. Because, like, Outlaw Star, I think, is 2 seasons. Like, I think it might be, like, 26 episodes. I should watch some more of that. I started, watching that on a stream a bit ago, and then I got distracted. I should go back on... I should actually finish it. So there were, like, 2 seasons. They told a story, and they wrapped that shit up. And then, like, the next big crop of anime, like that, the sort of next generation or whatever, like, came about, like, the forever anime. And that's not to say that they didn't exist before then, but it was, like, the hyper commercialization where it was like, oh, this is working, so we're just going to do 1,000 episodes of it. And I don't really want to sign up for 1,000 episodes of something. Yeah, like, the movies are worth it, and, like, I love finding shit that's, like, 1 season and they wrap it up. 2 seasons and they wrap it up. Like, I don't think anything is worse for any kind of storytelling that is trying to be done. Any kind of TV, not just anime. Anime, cartoons, regular-ass TV shows. Nothing is more damaging to, like, the story trying to be told than the sort of syndication loop of you're like, you pitch your story, right? And you're like, I would like funding to publish and make this story. And they're like, cool, here's the money. And so you start making a plan, and you're like, I think I've got a strong 1, 2, or 3 seasons worth to make a story. And then it goes really well for a season or 2, and then the freaking publishing comes back and is like, we're gonna re-up you for another season. And then you're like, oh shit, what am I gonna do with my story? And you just start wedging bullshit into the story. And it's toxic, man. It's so toxic to tell a story in the right pacing with the, like, all of the pieces in place and, like, driving the narrative. And I hate how often that seems to happen to stuff. Really, really big bummer. Yeah, anime is really subject to that. Honestly, the biggest complaint of, like, an American show that happened to is actually How I Met Your Mother. Totally totally different genre and shit, right? But me and my wife watched through How I Met Your Mother, and it's a pretty fun show. But that show, I am convinced, fell victim to getting way more seasons than they should have. And by the time they got to the planned ending, the originally planned ending was a shitty ending for the show. I think it would have been fine after, like, a couple seasons, but it ended up with, like, 11 or 12, and by the time 11 or 12 rolls around, it had turned into a shitty ending. And it's a shame that they moved forward with that exact same ending, and it was not good. And it's a shame. On the opposite side of things, we've been watching through Firefly again, and Firefly is the opposite, which I think had far more seasons worth of storyline ready.
I do apologize, but
and got 1
I have
season.
another favor I wish to ask of you. To the hills north of this castle lies a temple infested
Really
with yokai.
sucks.
That temple, too, has ties to the E clan. I cannot abandon it but I must remain at the castle, as I've been tasked with repairing the enclosure. Would you defeat the yokai and bring peace to the temple?
Yeah, we've been watching through Firefly again, and it's like, it's really good. It's really good. Okay, so now I have the quest to go to this temple. All right, let's go try that out. Because I previously couldn't get to the temple. And so now I seemingly have the key to get in. If anybody has not watched Firefly, I'm trying to think. Well, one of the reasons I'm watching through it again, because I'm trying to think if that was wrapped up in any way, shape, or form in the movie. Because there was the one season, and they did eventually get a movie to try to wrap it up at all. But I don't know if they really, like, they just had to abandon so many, like, storylines, for sure. Honestly, they really did as well as they could. Like, kudos to them for at least accomplishing something with that movie to, like, wrap up anything. But yeah, if people have not watched Firefly, I would really encourage you to look it up. It's a really good sci-fi show. The first episode, the pilot episode, is not that good. It is slow. It doesn't really match the same sort of pacing of the rest of them. It's much more sort of like an introduction to, like, the characters and shit. But even still, like, after that, you quickly get into a really strong storytelling experience. Characters are really good in Firefly. So endearing. It's got a similar vibe to, like, a fun Dungeons and Dragons group, because everybody in that goddamn ship are so different from each other, but they're stuck together anyway. And that's the vibe I get, is like a group of people that made Dungeons and Dragon characters entirely separate from each other to be in the group together, and then they were just like, and then you guys meet at a tavern, like, good luck. And, you know, the group makes it work. And that's exactly what Firefly feels like to me, and I find that really endearing, because, like, I've played those games. Like, I've been in those games. I've run those games for people that are just like, I don't know, guys, figure it out. You're together now. But there was a lot of storyline that just didn't get a chance to get fleshed out. And that's entirely Fox's fault, those fuckers, because they just screwed up how it was, like, released and put forward. Like, it showed, like, out of order, and it's just not a show that can be out of order. And I think they, like, it might have aired the pilot, which they probably shouldn't have aired the pilot, because it just doesn't build the enthusiasm you need. It's just like, man, it's so good. The characters were so good. I just wanted more of Firefly. Speaking of Dungeons & Dragons, there is actually a Firefly role-playing game. Boy, those books have been out of print, I'm sure, for forever. Like, I kind of wish I had one. I definitely do not. I don't even know if the system was good. You don't need a system, technically. I mean, if that's the theming you want, you just make it happen. Like, it's not complicated. Oops. you know, it'd be
The
nice to
yokai
have the
here
piece of
have been
memorabilia
driven
at this
away,
point.
But I still sense the presence of a Rataman near the tower.
A member of the Tokugawa clan. Dare you show yourself here?
Okay, I'm sorry. I just really had the vision of like what was actually just happening there, where like I showed up here, and he immediately is like starting to talk at me, right? Like he's getting into his monologue, and at the same time I'm just throwing bombs at his face. He's like, "How dare you show up? Oh, how dare you? Oh." Shit, I missed my opportunity. Oh yeah, got him. Stab him in the face.
He toyed with the loyalty of his warriors and made them into traitors.
But was that everything? Did we clear it out? We did. Look at us go. All right. Let's go turn this quest in, and I think that'll be a good place to wrap it up for the evening. Nice clearing of several of these areas.
A ghost who hates the Tokugawa clan. Perhaps it's my adopted brother, Naochika. He was of the Imagawa clan, who executed him after accusations of conspiring with Lord EAS. But I've heard it was all a scheme concocted by the Tokugawa clan from the start. His resentment must have led Naochika to become a vengeful spirit. Resentment is in no short supply during times of conflict, so ghosts and yokai abound.
Talk about serious
I
shit,
must
and then
thank
the
you again for your continued assistance.
Kodama
Lord
party on the
Deputy.
shrine is just like background, just like blowing horns, banging drums, making bubbly noises. They just living their best lives back there. They are just having the best of times. It ain't the time, man. All right, that apparently is where we're going next. We're just knocking shit out. Oh, okay, yeah, so this area I haven't done. Level 20. Surely I can get up there, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, also this castle I haven't gained access to. Okay, well. Okay, who knows? Man, this game has bloomed so strongly once I found the right combination of like moves and shit that was really what I wanted, and oh man, it immediately escalated into greatness. Escalated? Elevated. It has elevated dramatically. Just immediately, and it's awesome. It's so satisfying. Tonfas for life. Give me more of that attack. All right. That's it for the day. Thanks so much, everybody, for hanging out and being here. Gus, Kappa, Whitney's gone, and Skullbolt's popped in earlier, and Sea Weaver. Thanks, everybody, for being here. It was a pleasure, as always, to see all of you in chat. It was a great Saturday evening. So I hope you all have a good night. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. I should be back Tuesday for more of bludgeoning demons with sticks. And I hope to see you then. Bye.
Initiating goodnight sequence. Dispersing appropriate dosage of compound 347. Initiating phase 1 of memory calibration. This won't hurt a bit. Just close your eyes.